Hello everyone. Welcome to SHR Trinity. In our previous video, we explored zero-shot prompting. Today, we advance to the next critical technique, role/persona prompting. In this video, we will cover the foundational interview questions on role/persona prompting, explaining how providing just a single example can drastically improve a model's accuracy and format adherence. Let's get started. Before we begin, if you're looking for practical, industry-oriented training in artificial intelligence and generative AI, SHR Trinity offers a comprehensive 30-hour training program. For complete course details, check the description below. Now let's begin today's interview session. We will now begin with the interview questions for role/persona prompting, Part 3, Dual Role and Multi-Persona Simulations. Question 1. What is a multi-persona debate simulation and how does it improve logical reasoning?
A multi-persona debate is a technique where you prompt a single LLM to simulate multiple characters debating a topic. This improves reasoning by forcing the model to explore counterarguments and resolve logical contradictions. LLMs can suffer from confirmation bias when generating single-path answers. Simulating a debate between opposing viewpoints, e.g. an optimist and a pessimist, forces the model's attention heads to evaluate alternate hypotheses, resulting in a more balanced, thoroughly analyzed final recommendation. For example, simulate a debate between a security specialist and a developer regarding API key storage. Let them debate for 3 turns, then summarize the optimal consensus. A common mistake is allowing the debate characters to agree immediately without challenging each other's assumptions. As an interview tip, instruct the simulated personas to explicitly challenge each other's logical flaws to push the debate deeper.
Question 2. How do you set up a critic-generator pair using role prompts in a single LLM call?
You set up a critic generator pair by structuring the prompt to first generate a draft, then adopt a critic persona to review it, and finally rewrite the draft incorporating the critiques. This simulates a multi-agent system within a single generation sequence. The first part of the prompt generates the content, the second segment acts as an editor finding flaws, and the final segment resolves those flaws, dramatically increasing output quality. For example, Step 1, write an article. Step 2, act as an editor and list 3 improvements. Step 3, rewrite the article incorporating those improvements. A common mistake is asking for critique and generation in a single step without separating them sequentially, which prevents the model from auditing its own work. As an interview tip, always enforce a sequential structure, generate-critique-revise.
Question 3. What is systematic doubt prompting and how do you assign a skeptic role?
Systematic doubt is a prompting strategy where you assign a role to challenge every premise, assumption, and source of data presented in a proposal to expose hidden risks. LLMs tend to be highly agreeable. By explicitly commanding the model to act as a skeptic who assumes the proposal will fail, you bypass default compliance and uncover edge cases, security vulnerabilities, or logical fallacies that standard prompts miss. For example, act as a devil's advocate. Review this business expansion plan. Find 5 reasons why this plan will fail, focusing on market risks. A common mistake is using systematic doubt for creative brainstorming where encouragement and open-ended thought are needed. As an interview tip, use a skeptic role to stress test plans, code, or architectures before final approval.
Question 4. How do you simulate a panel of diverse experts in a single prompt to solve a complex system design problem?
Prompts simulate a panel of experts by assigning distinct professional roles, e.g., security, database, front-end, to different sections, letting them analyze the problem from their perspectives, and compiling their insights. Complex problems require multidisciplinary analysis. Asking a generic developer persona to design a system yields general answers. Designing a panel, DBA, security architect, systems engineer, forces the model to generate specialized analysis for each component. For example, design a payment gateway. Panel 1, DBA, focus on consistency, 2. Security, focus on encryption, 3. DevOps, focus on scalability. Let each write their design. A common mistake is providing vague expert roles that overlap, causing repetitive and redundant recommendations. As an interview tip, ensure each expert persona has a completely distinct area of responsibility to maximize domain depth.
Question 5. What are the orchestration challenges in multi-agent persona simulations?
The primary challenges are context window congestion, coordinate alignment, state synchronization, and preventing agent loops or conversational decay. When simulating multiple agents talking to each other, the context history accumulates rapidly. If agents repeat standard greetings or enter circular arguments, token costs skyrocket and the core task remains unsolved. You must implement strict turn limits and agenda controls. For example, a 3-agent writing team getting stuck in an infinite loop of reviewing and thanking each other without finalizing the text. A common mistake is failing to define a clear moderator or final approver role to terminate the conversation and output the result. As an interview tip, always designate one persona as the project manager who has the authority to end discussion and synthesize the final answer.
Question 6. How do you manage conflicts or contradictions between simulated roles in a debate prompt?
Manage conflicts by establishing a formal resolution framework, like a jury vote or a supervisor persona, that evaluates the conflicting arguments based on objective criteria. If debate personas hold opposing views, the model can get stuck in an unresolved loop. Defining a judge persona that steps in after a set number of turns to weigh the evidence and make a final executive decision ensures a clean, actionable output. For example, simulate a debate between a marketing lead and a compliance officer. After 2 turns, let a judge persona resolve the conflict based on regulatory risk. A common mistake is leaving the debate open-ended without a mechanism to synthesize a single, unified recommendation. As an interview tip, provide the judge persona with clear guidelines, e.g., prioritize compliance over profit, to resolve debates consistently.
Question 7. How does multi-persona prompting compare to single-agent prompting in terms of token cost and latency?
Multi-persona prompting increases token costs and latency by 2x to 5x because the model must generate intermediate reasoning and dialogue for each persona before producing the final answer. Every character's monologue adds completion tokens to the context. Generating a debate between 3 experts before getting a system design consumes significantly more compute time and API spend than asking for the design directly from a single expert. For example, a single prompt design costing 5 cents scaling to 25 cents when wrapped in a 3-turn expert panel simulation. A common mistake is using multi-expert panels for routine, straightforward tasks where the latency overhead is unjustified. As an interview tip, reserve multi-persona debates for strategic decision-making and complex, high-uncertainty architectural reviews.
Question 8. What is a devil's advocate persona and when is it most appropriate to use one?
A devil's advocate persona is a role instructed to argue against the prevailing consensus or the user's stated preference to identify hidden biases and logical gaps. Human teams often suffer from groupthink. When a user asks an LLM, "Review my strategy, I think it's great," standard models will agree. Assigning a devil's advocate persona forces the model to ignore user flattery and systematically analyze potential flaws. For example, "I want to invest in Bitcoin." Act as a devil's advocate and argue why this is a bad idea, focusing on regulatory and volatility risks. A common mistake is using a devil's advocate when the user requires implementation support rather than critical evaluation. As an interview tip, use this role during the review phase of a project lifecycle to stress test decisions before execution.
Question 9. How do you design a role-play prompt for conversational negotiation training?
Design negotiation role plays by setting a clear scenario, defining the AI's role, e.g. resistant vendor, establishing hidden constraints, e.g. minimum price, and instructing it to respond interactively turn by turn. To make roleplay effective, the model must not speak for the user or output the entire script at once. The system instructions must command it to generate exactly one response at a time, keeping its secret constraints hidden from the user. For example, act as a vendor selling a car. Your secret minimum price is $10,000. Do not disclose this. Wait for the user's offer and negotiate. A common mistake is generating both sides of the conversation in a single turn, which breaks the interactive training loop. As an interview tip, explicitly state, generate exactly one replying character. Do not write the user's response. Wait for the user to type.
Question 10. How do you prevent collusive agreement, the echo chamber effect, in simulated consensus panels?
Prevent collusion by giving each expert persona contradictory goals, distinct data inputs, or explicit instructions to prioritize different business metrics. If all experts in a simulated panel share the same basic prompt, they will quickly align and agree, defeating the purpose of the panel. By assigning unique motives, e.g. DBA focuses purely on cost, security focuses purely on locking down access, you maintain productive tension. For example, panel, developer, wants fast deployment, QA, wants zero bugs, compliance, wants zero regulatory risk. Do not agree until all constraints are met. A common mistake is instructing a panel to work together to find an easy solution, which causes them to compromise quality for speed. As an interview tip, assign opposing reward functions or KPIs to each persona in the panel to enforce critical evaluation.
Excellent. You've completed role/persona prompting, Part 3, Dual Role and Multi-Persona Simulations. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into using one-shot prompting to enforce strict JSON and XML outputs for API integrations. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe to SHR Trinity, and press the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming AI interview preparation videos. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.